Hi guys, today we're going to talk to Tejo.
Yes, sir. Tejoyashank.
I'll stick to Tejo. You complete the name later on.
Yes, sir.
And he is in SIBM today, lovely campus behind us, with 15 days of preparation. So of course, it's not about 15 days. You are prepared for the CAT. The exam preparation started long back.
Yes, sir.
But those last minute is very important preparation.
Yes, sir.
So I want to talk about two things. One is what is your background, where you from, and the second thing is about how you prepared for the last 15 days. So that I can also convert this college,
yes,
like you did.
Yes,
so
sir.
Can you start with the background first?
Yes, sir. So my name is Tejoyashank. I'm from Navi Mumbai, Kharghar, and I'm a computer science engineer from SRM IST. And during my last 15 days, I started preparing for SNAP. And my preparation was for, it started with CAT preparation, but then it also went to SNAP. And there was a very seamless transition, albeit that there were a little more topics that I had to cover more.
Correct.
And especially with the logical and the verbal. So in
Logic
the last
is totally new. Everything is new. But
yes, sir.
Kind of CAT is only puzzles and sets.
Yes, sir.
And here there are no sets. They're all individual questions.
Yes, sir.
Right. So last 15 days. So I'm obviously preparing for CAT exam, other exams. So done with my basics.
Yes, sir.
So what advice would you like to give me for the last 15 days? How many mocks you have given that last 15 days?
Yes, sir. So in the last 15 days, my advice to candidates would be to take as many mocks as they can, but try to limit it somewhere between 20 to 30, because there also needs to be enough time for analyzing every mock. And after the analysis, the candidate would be able to better position themselves to see where they're lacking and if they need any changes in the strategy.
Correct.
Because CAT ke liye we have one strategy, and that is not the same thing that works for SNAP, because SNAP is a very time-bound exam. So aspirants will have to be very quick on their feet. They will have to be nimble. And I think 25, 30 is a good number for SNAP.
Number for that. Perfect. So, do you have any strategy in mind? First, I have to do maths, because you can switch between sections like CAT.
Yes, sir.
So, do you have any kind of a time set? I'm going to spend this much time into this thing, this much time into this thing, or you were just going the flow?
No, sir. One of the things that I did was, and something that really worked out for me was, that I started with the questions which I felt were relatively easy, and then I went to the medium difficult questions. Across the sections. So for me, I always like to start off with verbal, because I think that I'm more proficient in verbal.
Comfortable.
So I did verbal first, and then uske baad I went to LR, and finally I went to quant. And even in quant, I had special categorizations as to which questions were easier for me and which ones were tough, because at the end of the day, SNAP is also an exam where you have to choose your questions carefully. Since there are negative markings. So it is +1 and minus 0.25.
Correct.
So you also have to have a good strategy for that.
Right. So if we talk about verbal section, so was there any time limit you have made? There's no time limit.
No, sir. I had a very different idea. I said that I first want to...
All easy questions. So you run through the paper, all 60 questions.
No, only first in the verbal section. I stick to the verbal section. I try to get as many done as possible, and then I move on to the LR, and then I move on to the quant, because I also want to... There will always be certain questions, even in verbal, which are difficult.
Correct.
And I want to keep them for the last, because I have to attack and tackle other questions.
So run through the paper, do all the easy questions, and then come back for second phase and do all the high level questions.
Yes, sir.
Irrespective of the slot.
Yes, sir.
Superb. So there was no time limit for that. Pehle easy question itne mein hona chahiye. No, वो नहीं रखा था.
नहीं sir, because क्या होता है, if we have a time limit, we are also like starting to make ourselves more nervous.
Correct. To start panicking. Yeah.
Exactly. And then उस panic में our preparation seems to fumble away.
Right.
So I didn't want any of that to happen. So I said ki let me take my time, but at the same time let me keep an eye on the timer over there.
Perfect. That's a good strategy. Yeah, you can try. So this is a phase. The best part of SNAP exam is 1 hour ka paper. You can try as many strategies as you want.
Yes, sir.
So all the beautiful strategy, it works for him. Maybe it might not work for you. So you try to go through all different kind of strategies, especially in the first 10-15 mocks.
Yes, sir.
Once you finalize the strategy, this is where it's working me more.
Yes,
like keeping maths in the end, maybe it's good for you, maybe it's bad for you.
Yes, sir.
So you have to finalize your own strategy. So once you came for the interview, so you had a gap, right? You had a gap.
Sir.
So was there any problem or in the interview? Did you felt any kind of a hindrance because of that, or how you justified your gap?
No, sir. I did not feel any hindrance because of my gap years, and I justified my gap years also. And I was upskilling. I was working on my personal skills. I was also pursuing different things in life, and I had a very honest response and a very honest answer when I was asked this particular question, and they seemed to be satisfied with the question. And I mean,
so upskilling, you do some courses. So those who have taken the gap, almost 33% MBA aspirants normally have taken the gap.
yes, sir.
So if you can upskill yourself, do some courses, marketing, finance, whatever interested in,
Yes, sir.
so that you can survive that way.
Yes,
And then you said I was involved in other things as well. So if you can help us with some of the things,
yes,
so
sir.
that they can also do similar kind of a thing.
I mean, I was involved in mainly in personal upskilling and personal growth because I felt like my communication skills were something I needed to work upon. My
Okay.
listening skills again was something I needed to work upon. And talking about my upskilling, I did a course in digital marketing. I did a course in inbound marketing since my specialization over here is marketing. So I
Marketing, right.
felt the time that I had during the gap, I could better utilize to work on the specialization that I wanted to choose. And it also helps aspirants to have a very clear picture, if not a very clear picture, a good picture about what specialization they'd want to pick, because they will have
Correct.
time
They
to
have the
prepare.
time to do it.
Yes, sir.
And you said you need to work on the com skills. So what you did, any advice you like to give to students? So
Yes, sir.
on working on the com skills.
Yes, sir. So for the communication skills, I read a lot of newspapers. I used to stand in front of a mirror and read a specific article to myself and then gauge whether or not I've liked the way I've spoken to myself. Because I felt nobody is a good judge than me, because it's me that's going to give me an active input in that moment. And then I used to also sit down with my friends, my peers, and discuss current affairs. I used to only constantly talk to my entire circle in English because the medium of communication is English during the interview process also. So that makes it a much more seamless and smoother experience, sir.
Correct. Yeah, we always think what people will say. Fine. See, if anybody want to laugh on you, he'll laugh anyways, even if you can't speak English or not. But the best way is to start talking.
Yes, sir.
मैं तो अमिताभ बच्चा डालेगा ना, I can walk in English, talk in English, तो भाई तुम बोलना शुरू करो.
Yes,
अपने आप one fine day you will improve.
Yes, sir.
So, but otherwise, if you're confident enough, so then these things are not very important. But if you are, once you gain the confidence level, ki yes, I'm not great in English, but yeah, I can survive.
Yes, sir.
That kind of a level of English is more than sufficient to crack the exams.
Yes, sir.
Great. So, any last advice you like to give? How CTing helped you in this journey?
So during my preparation for Snap after CAT, I used to watch a lot of your videos, and you used to give all these different updates as to how these exams are, the question paper pattern, and that was very insightful because again, in a way that helped me devise strategies that I was able to implement during my attempts, and I felt ki it was for your videos also that were very helpful, and I thank you very much for all the help that you've given us, sir.
And all the best. Hope
Thank
you
you very
do
much,
well.
sir. Thank you very much.